My name is Lynn from L&J Goods. I'm a creative and I am disorganized. With the help of 3 new things from the IOD Spring 2024 collection, I'm going to create a project that is going to help me to organize my stuff. I started with these magazine files that I found on Amazon. Because I'm going to be adding collage to them, I decided to sand the finish so that it had a little bit of tooth to make sure that all of my vintage book pages and ephemera would stick like glue to that magazine file. I'll be using assorted ephemera that I have collected. Using your favorite decoupage medium, all you want to do is collage and cover these magazine files with the papers of your choice. This video is part of a playlist that IOD has put together to feature their Spring 2024 collection. You'll find a link to that playlist in the description box below. You'll find lots of great project ideas for using the new IOD collection from other IOD creatives. I worked one side at a time, let that dry, and then sanded the edges off to create a clean finish before moving on to decoupaging the other sides of the boxes. I'm going to be using a couple of stamps and molds from the IOD Spring 2024 collection to embellish my magazine files. The first one is Pastiche. Oh my goodness, this one is so delightful. It is full of lots of wonderful collections, birds, cloches, books, birds, and botanicals. All of the little science-y kind of collector's details that we love. I want you to notice this upgraded feature of the IOD stamps. Each of the masks are printed, so you can easily find which mask goes with which stamp. Before I use my IOD stamps for the first time, I'm going to condition them with a sanding block to give the stamp some tooth. It's going to accept the ink or paint better that way. And then I always practice with my stamps on another surface. This helps me to decide layout. It helps me to work out a design and practice masking so that I don't make so many mistakes on my final piece. I do like to use one of the Iron Orchid Designs thin mounts to assist me in positioning my stamps, and it helps to keep the stamps in place so that I have minimal shifting and a little more control over the placement. Once I've determined where I want to place the stamp, I hold with one hand and use my other hand to rub over the entire stamp. You'll see how I'm using several different stamps in this set to embellish my magazine files. The stamps are designed to have interchangeable bases and various elements that you can put together to create your own composition.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high.
To create the labels for my magazine files, I'm using the new IOD mold called Conservatory Labels. This is a throwback to one of the original IOD molds that we all loved so much, and I for one am so very excited to see this version returned. I just know that I'm going to find so many uses for the conservatory labels. I'll use them in journaling, on pots, for other embellishments on my mixed media pieces. I'm casting my molds with IOD's air dry clay. I'm using the air dry clay because I really do love that cracked and organic look that the clay gives when it's dry. You could also pour these with resin just as easily and then have a bunch on hand for when you need a label. The next stamp that I'm going to feature is called Apothecary Labels. And yes, this is a totally new concept from IOD. These are mini stamps. They're tiny. They come in 4 different individual packages so that you can easily keep track of them. And there's not only fonts, but there are also label stamps. So all of these can be used interchangeably. For my magazine files, I'm going to be using the stamps in a little bit of a different way. Instead of stamping with them, I will be debossing my clay molds. For me, I found it easy just to pick up one stamp at a time and spell out the word that I want, place it into the damp clay, and then press those letters into the clay. Notice that these little stamps have a blue cast to them, so you can easily find them if they should pop off of your work surface. You can also use the cover sheet for your stamp letters and use that to press them into place as well. Later, I'll add these to my magazine files and then let them dry. Then I'll be applying a wax or a glaze over top to help to bring out the details in the letters and the labels. You'll want to make sure that your little stamps are completely cleaned before you put them back into the storage container. When I have debossed all of my labels, I'm going to allow them to dry. I place them on a flat surface and then add some blue tape over the top just to hold them flat so that they are going to dry with minimal warping. After the molds have dried, I will release them from the blue tape and glue them onto the backs of my magazine files.
From the ground. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.
Before I put a finish on my magazine files, I'm going to coat the entire surface with a clear polyacrylic sealer.
Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down.
You'll notice that I even added some clear alcohol ink stained cellophane tape over some areas of the box, just to add a little bit of extra detail. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to share this technique with you. I'm using a dark wax over the entire box and then using a clear wax to remove any excess. This should finish off my magazine files just fine. I can tell you that I had so much fun creating this project. You'll find all of the products that I use listed in the description box below. While you're here, we would sure love it if you would go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment and let us know what you think of this new IOD spring release. And what do you think of my magazine files? I know that I'm going to be making lots more of these to help me to organize more of my supplies in my tiny little crafting space at home. Remember that you can find the list for the products that I used today, especially the IOD Pastiche stamp, the Apothecary Labels stamp, and the Conservatory Labels mold. They're all going to be listed in the description box below. You can also find them on our website, ellenjgoods.com, or at our brick and mortar shop in Medina, New York.